This is Joy Roland, and you're listening to episode 21 of the It's Possible podcast. Create your own reality with Adel Houten. Welcome to the It's Possible podcast. This is the podcast that sparks the transformation of your money mindset, empowering you to pave the way for financial success and wealth creation. This is where we study what the wealthiest and most successful people do. Not only do we study these successful people, we implement what we learn so that we create the life we want and deserve. Hi there, my name is Joy Roland, your host. I created wealth from changing my money mindset. Yes, it's possible for you too. So pour yourself a cup of coffee or tea. This is going to be fun. Hello everybody, welcome to episode 21 of the It's Possible podcast. We're well into the holiday season. Christmas is just a few days away, and I'm so excited. I hope you are too. I hope you have amazing things planned for yourself and your family. I have a treat for you today. I have a special guest. Her name is Adel Houten. She's coming to us all the way from the UK, and she's going to share some wisdom and knowledge with us to help us transform our money mindset. I promise you, this is going to be an explosive podcast episode. Without much further ado, please welcome Adele to the show. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this episode of the It's Possible podcast. I have a treat for you guys today. We have a special guest. Her name is Adel Houten. She's a UK-based therapist and practitioner with 20 years experience of helping people heal trauma. She has a unique method called the quantum transformation method, and she helps unfulfilled executives break free from the 9 to 5 grind so you can finally start to live a life of freedom based on the lifestyle you crave. Please join me in welcoming Adele Houten to our podcast. Welcome, Adele.
Thank you. Nice to be here, Joy. Thanks for having me.
Fantastic. I know I just gave a very brief introduction to you there, but why don't you start by introducing yourself in your own words and telling our audience what you do?
Yeah, sure. So I specialize in two areas, really. Primarily helping women to really get out of their own way. I've been doing it for 20 years. I started off as a therapist. I trained people in advanced clinical hypnosis, EFT, lots of different modalities. And then I started asking more questions about, well, why are we here? What's reality all about? And I got into universal law, how we create. And yeah, so I'm a spiritual practitioner as well. So I combine the two, the knowing of truth. I call myself the truth-seeking therapist, with the trauma release and limiting belief work.
Well, that's amazing. So Adele, my audience, we are women who want to create wealth, and that's what this podcast is about, helping women create wealth. And I know firsthand that creating wealth starts with the mindset. So this work you do is absolutely critical and crucial in helping women create wealth. So, can you give us an background of how the work you do is very key to helping women create wealth?
Yeah, sure. I mean, us as human beings, we are our natural state is abundance and wealth and abundance doesn't just come in the form of money, right? It comes in many, many different forms. And that's our natural state. It's our birthright to have all the riches and all the wealth. The problem is that we create blockages within our own subconscious mind that prevent us from out picturing that wealth that we want to see in our world. So that could be a lack mindset. You know, we programmed when we're younger, money doesn't grow on trees. That was a big one I used to hear quite often. Money doesn't grow in trees. And so what we then tend to do is we filter universal law through that belief system, which then outpitches into a reality where there is no wealth, or there isn't as much wealth as you would like there to be. There's also limiting beliefs, i.e., I'm not worthy. Some people might have those. Money's dangerous, money's scary. This fear of failure, fear of success. There are so many different limiting mindsets conditioned into us through trauma that will then outpicture and block us from creating that wealth, because money is just energy. Money is just
Yeah.
energy. That's all it is. And the energy is supposed to come to us, but we block it. So my work is about releasing those blockages so that people can attract the wealth and create the wealth that they desire to. So yeah, really important work.
Yeah, like just hearing you say this, like this is exactly what I preach as well. But some women might find it a bit woo-woo, right? But based on my research and what has really worked for me, I feel like this is kind of scientific, like because your thought patterns actually drive your habits and your actions. But
Yeah.
many people don't kind of try to correlate that. They just feel like, oh, I'm constantly making the wrong money decisions, or I'm not good with money. That's a popular one. People tell women especially tell themselves, I'm not smart with money, I'm not good with numbers. And many people don't realize that saying those things to yourself actually drive the actions you take in your finances. So I know it isn't woo-woo, but you tell me, how do you help women understand that this isn't woo-woo at all, and this is something that they need to actually work on if they're really interested in building wealth?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it isn't woo-woo, and we can prove it with science now with the advent of quantum physics, you know. Um, I go a lot into businesses and do this work, and businesses pay me to help their employees with the trauma and such that they've experienced that preventing them from being who they want to be. We know from like the double slit experiment, that's a very famous experiment that has shown how we literally create by observation. So when we observe something, whether it's observed or not, it it changes the reality of the atoms which are observed. It's called a double slit experiment. So we can actually prove that when we're observing something, that which we observe changes. So our consciousness can change the molecular structure in the photons and the electrons that are create that the building blocks of reality. So it's all backable now. I think what's great now in this era is that we can actually demonstrate through science some of the spiritual concepts with experiments such as that. So yeah, it is, and it's like, you know, if you say to your children, don't spill that milk, yeah, the mind doesn't hear the don't, it only hears spill the milk.
Spill the milk.
Yeah, the mind's like Google. I say, you know, if you put into Google, don't bring up pictures of cats. What does it bring up? Pictures of cats, right? It hears the content. So whatever we say, I'm not good at this, we're auto-programming ourselves and we're reinforcing that belief, which will then create a different way at which we look at the world and ourselves, which will then create a different reality if we, you know, didn't look at it in a different way. So yeah, it's all totally backable by science now.
Like just hearing you say like what you've just said, I remember what Tony Robbins said one time, that, for example, if you wanted to create wealth, you need to stop having a goal. I don't want to be poor, because
Mm.
that sentence, I don't want to be poor, has the negative poverty in it. So you need to focus on, I want to be wealthy, which is like the positive one. But people would think, well, semantics doesn't matter, but it does. So
Mm.
when you say, I don't want to be poor, because that word poor is in the sentence, then you
Yeah.
attract poverty. So I can so relate to what you just said. So
And
my next
just to
question
be
is
more,
this.
oh,
Yeah, go
sorry,
ahead.
Joe, just on that
Yeah.
point, I would even go one step further and be a little bit more semantic. I would say I am wealthy. I am.
Yes.
Because a lot
Yes.
of people would say, when I'm wealthy, I'll be happy. When I'm
Mm,
slim, I'll be happy. And they're expecting to feel different in this moment, in a reality that is giving them that feeling that they don't wish to have, right? So
yeah.
feeling it now, experiencing it now, and giving that vibe of that I am already that which I want to be, will then allow that to come. Because if you say, I want to be wealthy, what, when you're 90, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, feeling it in the
So
current moment,
true.
because there's only now. Now is all there is.
Yeah, so true. And my coach, her name is Brooke Castillo, she said almost exactly what you just said. And she said many people don't know that you are free to think whatever you want to think, which is that, for example, if I have a money goal, maybe I want to earn 7 figures per year, or I want to move to a bigger house, for example. She said that that goal is because we want to feel a certain way, right? Why do you want to be rich? You want to feel a certain way. And what she proposes is you can choose to think the thoughts that will give you that. Like, what would you be thinking when you have $1 million in your bank account? So she said you need to start thinking and kind of bring that reality right now so you can start conjuring up what your life will be like when you have $1 million cash in your account. And then that thought will drive the actions you take now, which will take you to that place eventually. So, like, I can still relate to what you just said. And I love this work we do because it's just amazing the transformation we see women go through when they actually do this work. So, thank you for sharing what you just shared. Now, Adele, my next question is this. I know you mentioned trauma, right? But many women might say to themselves, well, I didn't go through trauma when I was a child. So then how can you help such people? Because people just think of trauma like maybe sexual assault or big things, right? But we know that trauma can be even just a sentence you heard someone tell you as a child, which then goes to affect your money mindset and how you behave around money today. So can you speak to that, please?
Yeah, of course. There's a big misconception what trauma is. Trauma, like you
Mm,
say, people think it's something like, huge, a rape or an abuse, and it's not necessarily. And trauma isn't something that happens to us. It's something we
mm,
experience in a moment where we've had a heightened emotional negative state, and we've made a decision in that moment about ourselves or about the world around us or about other people. So I might experience something whereby, I don't know, I had secondhand shoes on in the playground, and somebody says to me, "Oh my God, you're wearing scruffy shoes," and I might be
yes.
5 years old. And in that moment, I make a decision about myself that maybe other
Yeah.
people are nasty and the world's not a nice place, or I'm not good enough to have nice new shoes. And that
Yes.
then decision in mind then out pictures through our lives, and you can see the theme. You can see that
Mm,
theme. But what's interesting as well, going back to the science, we know through epigenetics that we can actually inherit trauma as well. So when we
wow.
experience a trauma, it puts a tag, it constricts the DNA and puts a tag on it. And then just as we can inherit our eye color, our hair color, we can actually inherit our forebearers' trauma as well, which can
Wow.
explain why we can have a fear of water when we've never had any incidents with water. It might be something from a genetic past our
This
lineage.
is,
So,
yeah, this
yeah.
is so true because I have a fear of dogs because of my experience as a child. A dog attacked me. And can you believe my 4-year-old daughter fears dogs? Like she's she like because of what you just said, I just went back into my head and I'm like, wow. So then how can personally I don't want the trauma I have experienced as a child to pass on to my daughter. How can women make sure that like what you just explained about the DNA and the genetic tag doesn't pass on to their children?
Well, we have to deal with our trauma. I don't think we
Mm,
can ever fully stop it. You know, it's like, how can we not pass on our personality traits? How are we going to do that? But what we can do is we can heal that trauma. And that's part of life, isn't it? It's
mm,
healing and feeling, and it's all part of this big game that we call life. So it's not necessarily a bad thing that we're passing that on, because
okay.
it's I always say they're like Russian dolls. So you are your mother, you are your daughter, we're all one, we're all connected. So when your daughter heals from the dog example, you heal as well, because we're all connected. And we will keep passing that down through generations until that particular trauma heals. So we pass it on, you know, it's just part of
Yeah.
life. But there are many, many ways you can heal trauma very, very quickly, very, very thoroughly. I have trained in quite a few different techniques, and EFT is one of them, the tapping, really, really beneficial technique. Clinical hypnosis. I do lots of different techniques which I've amalgamated into the quantum transformation. And I call it the quantum transformation because we are dealing not just with like this lifetime, we're dealing with that whole lineage of trauma that is now in this moment, because this is the only moment that there is. The past, like now, was the future a moment ago, and now is the past now. There only ever is now. And so everything that we need to heal is here right now. So, a little bit deep there, but hopefully that lands.
Oh yes, I love it. I love it. I love it. So I like that you've like merged everything into one program. So helping women deal with trauma and doing all of that work. I think that's amazing. So for the someone listening right now who says, well, how can I identify the challenges I'm having and how can I proceed to seek help?
Sure.
I know you, for example, if someone is listening right now, they're in a 9 to 5 job, which they hate, which is unfulfilling. Like, how can they break free and actually start living the life they want?
Mm. Well, first of all, I think it's a big shift to realize that you create your own reality. When you know you can you create it, and you understand how you've been creating it, like you say with the don't spill the milk, or I don't want to be poor, we're creating those scenarios. So twofold really. Firstly is understanding how reality works, how we actually create by virtue of our observation and our thoughts. So understanding that, so universal truth, universal law, just as there is the law of gravity, there's so many different universal laws that dictate what we see in our reality based upon what we think. So understanding that is very empowering. And then healing those parts of us, those limiting beliefs, so that we're not creating from a space of lack or a space of limit. We're creating as the limitless human beings that we are. So twofold: knowing truth
Yeah.
and healing trauma. Yeah, and putting it
Yeah.
all into practice. You
Oh,
you mentioned
that's
before that you can change your mindset in a split second, and that brought back to me many years ago. I went through a situation where my ex-husband, now he wasn't my ex at the time, but he was an addicted gambler, and he wasn't working, and he was basically spending everything. And in 1 year, I lost my home, I lost my rental property. I ended up in £60,000 of credit card debt, even though I'd never spent a penny on a credit card. Had thousands stolen out of my bank account. I paid money on a car that didn't transpire, and my son got expelled from school all in 1 year. And I remember being sat in a coffee shop obviously devastated, wondering what I was going to do. Didn't want to pay any of it back because it wasn't my debt, quite frankly. And I just remember saying, so what? They can't kill me, can't take what I haven't got. And in that instant, all the stress went. My situation hadn't changed, but my mindset about the situation changed. And that was the turning point for me, building everything back. Mm.
Wow, that's a lot to have to deal with, right?
Yeah.
Um, so just that mindset shift in a coffee shop transformed everything for you. And like I know this works because this is how it has worked for me as well. So if you're listening and you need help, definitely reach out to Adele. She's going to tell us how she works with women, the quantum transformation method. So do you want to share more detail, Adele, about this program and how people can reach you to find out more?
Yeah, thank you. So it's the quantum transformation. There are three levels. The first level is 3 months. It's a 12-week program, and that's looking at how we create our reality. So each week it's split into two. So there's the learning about truth and creation, and then there's a trauma healing online with one of the individuals, and everybody else can borrow benefits from that as well. So everybody gets healing. So that's a 3-month course. Then the middle one is the quantum transformation coach. If you want to learn the quantum transformation method to do with other people. And then the third one is the practitioner, where you really embody it. With that, you also get a hypnotherapy practitioner certificate as well. So that's a year-long course. So there's 3 different levels of that, and it's done online.
So then for that third level, sorry, I was on mute. For that third level, when someone has gone through, they become a hypnotherapist.
They can do at the practitioner level, yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Because
Mm.
I know hypnotherapy works, and I used to think that to become a hypnotherapist, you have to go through like tons and tons of training. So it's interesting that someone can start helping people with using hypnotherapy after going through your program.
It's a year,
Okay,
yeah, it's
so
a year-long program. It's an accredited year-long program. I don't know what the rules are in Canada or what but this is as accredited as you can get. It's you have to do it's a mixture of 120 hours face to face over Zoom and 450 hours self-study, self-paced learning. So yeah. And that's all included in what we do. And there's some face-to-face work there as well, a few days. So yeah, it's all included. It's all in the curriculum.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So, how can people reach out to you?
So I'm on Instagram. I don't do much social media though, I'll be honest, Joy. I'm on
Okay.
Instagram, truth-seeking therapist, but I've been told I need to start doing more social media. And adelhouten.com is my webpage as well. So there's information on the course on there.
Okay. So I'm going to drop all of those links in the show notes. So ladies, take advantage of what Adele is offering. Adele, you also mentioned before we started recording that you have a freebie you can share with the audience as well.
Oh yeah, so I have a 32-page journal. It's about shattering your money blocks. So
Mhm.
it's 10 different questions. It's all about shadow work, 10 different questions to ask yourself and then to journal to uncover those blockages, those limiting beliefs. So yeah, I can share that for sure.
Yes, please. So I'm going to add that in the show notes as well. Oh gosh, I've learned a lot from our conversation, and I'm sure the audience have as well. Adele, thank you so much. Do you have any last words for our audience before we end?
Last words. I would say just know that this is all a game. Life is a game. Enjoy
Mm.
it. None of it is real. Yeah, it's we take life too seriously, very much so. So enjoy the ride.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much. I couldn't have said it any better, Adele. It's been a privilege having you on our show. We hope you come back again to share your knowledge and awesome wisdom. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the podcast. If this episode encouraged, inspired, or taught you something new, please do me a huge favor by leaving me a review. Just head on over to Apple Podcast, find the show, go to the main page of the show, scroll all the way down to the bottom, and you'll see a section where you can write me a review. And lastly, come on over to my Facebook group where you get support as you build wealth. This is an exclusive group of high-achieving and ambitious women actively working on getting rich. Find the link to the group in the show notes. I hope to see you back here soon. God bless you.